It is mailbag time here on the Cowboys Report by Chat Sports. I'm Tom Downey. Tony D, first of a super thanks, $10. I think Malik Davis is going to be the next Tony Pollard. Thank you. I think that'd be a great outcome from Dallas. I don't think they play all that similar. Davis doesn't have the same long speed that Pollard does. But I'll say this about this Cowboys running back room overall. It's wide open. This current regime, led by McCarthy, has always preferred Dowdle to Malik Davis. But an offseason can change things. You know, Davis is going to get a chance. He has a better chance in Dallas than he'd probably have almost anywhere else just because there's such lack of youth and explosibility and production in this running back room right now. So I'm not going to get my hopes up for that. But he's got a chance to impress in camp because how much is, in preseason time? Is he going to play in preseason? Probably not. That would give Davis a chance. So it's a big offseason, preseason camp, etc. from Malik Davis to showcase what he's able to do. Now, Tony's comment came in via Super Thanks. It is a feature here on YouTube. You got Super Chats during the live show. Super Thanks on demand. Allows you to edit your message, send it in. We appreciate your support here at the Cowboys Report. Helped us put in all new stuff at the office, including carpet to help fix some of the sound issues in theory. So any Super Thanks, even if it says, F you, Tom, you suck, it will be a shout-out here on the show. From DC for L, what is Jayron Kearse's status with the Cowboys? Unlikely to return. I'd be pretty shocked if he was back with the Cowboys. Yeah, he made the comments on his way to Minnesota that they didn't like him, and Zimmer was his head coach and also in charge of the defense there. So I would not anticipate Jayron Kearse, coming back to Dallas. I don't know where he ends up. I'm sure somebody signs him. But I don't think he played that great last season, especially down the stretch. I am okay saying let's play Marquise Bell more. Let's play Wanye Thomas more as well. From Roy Williams, it's frustrating we didn't draft a running back, and it's crazy. Jerry and Steven still think Zeke's a number one running back. It is the worst back in the league. Man, I really would have loved if they'd taken Jalen Wright over Maris Leofau. We'll see if I'm right or wrong on that front. I hope I'm wrong about it because it means the Cowboys got a good player. But yeah, I agree. This is the worst backfield in the NFL. This is not 2018. You're not going to get prime Zeke. I don't think that's a realistic goal. I'm hoping the offensive line plays better and that leads to better results overall, but my expectations are low for that. Or at least it being substantially better. I think it can be better. But early on, I think there's going to be some growing pains. I don't see what this team sees if they really think that, hey, Zeke's the number one back these days. That's not how he played last year. Sorry. From Scatalytic Dude, is that how it's pronounced? I don't know. Why stress? We got a robust offensive line, ton of potential in the wide receiver room, promising quarterback in Lance, running back room that's willing to prove themselves, new and improved linebacker group. DT is the con. Trust in Zim. Let's see how Lance plays in the preseason. He's also not under contract next year, so he's not playing this year. I don't know. I agree. I'm hopeful on the offensive line. I feel better about the linebacking room. I think for receiver and running back room outside of Lamb, though, we're kind of just hoping more than have the provenness. And also, what room in the NFL isn't willing to prove themselves? If you have that, if you don't have that, I think you got a big problem. From Trevor, would you trade CeeDee Lamb for 2 firsts? No, and here's why he's really good. In general, if my team is coming off 3 straight 12-win seasons, I don't want to trade away a young core piece. Call me crazy. I'm paying Lamb what the market rate. It's fine. I'm an NFL team. I can afford to pay the market rate for the fancy fish at the seafood place. I can afford to do it. Yes, maybe I'll only have 1 glass of wine instead of 2. It'll be fine. The 2 firsts is probably what I'd ask for if I had to do it. But I'm getting 2 mid to late first round picks? I'm not going to bank on getting another CeeDee Lamb. So what do you think Dallas should do with Lamb? T for trade him, P for pay, W for wait. Sound off with a pinned comment of today's show. Benjamin Garza, speaking of Slam, will the Cowboys pay CeeDee Lamb $160 for 5? Got to bump that figure up. It's the same deal with an extra year that A.J. Brown got. Now, if you give massive guaranteed figures there, it's doable. But in general, every year you add to a contract, tack on $2 million per year because of the way you're able to structure and backload those contracts. From Ace 1900, Tom, predict our regular season record. I had them at 10 wins, I believe, in my Cowboys record prediction. That video is on the channel, so you can go game by game over there. It's just available. It's just the record prediction there. I think they'll be a playoff team again. They're still a good team. I don't think they're a championship team. From Brian Greathouse, hey Tom, is there any word that we are keeping Gilmore? Quiet so far. Not much to report on that front. Maybe something comes up, but I wonder if they're waiting for Gilmore to get healthy. Maybe he'll end up signing with a team closer to camp, but so far, nada on the Stephon Gilmore front. Keep an eye out for Patriots and Panthers still too. From Miles, does Dak's injury history worry you if you got to guarantee him so much money? So I don't see this mentioned very often. I actually think this is a very valid point, though. He's outside of last year, he's had a bit of a run of injuries. And we went through this with Romo. The injuries ended his career. Honestly, I still think Romo, when that back injury happened against Seattle, I think we were about to see the best version of Romo. Now, Dak is still younger than that, but I think the injuries are a valid concern. If Dak gets hurt again this year and you haven't paid him, how worried are you going to be? Other team, I think the market will still saw it with Kirk Cousins, depending on what the injury is. But we go back to last year, I made the comment, I was more worried about the injuries than I was the interceptions. I think you saw why, because the interceptions were not the quarterback's fault. It was bad luck, / the receivers couldn't catch the damn ball. So I actually do think the injury concerns, which I think are less than what they were last year, is something very valid and should be mentioned. So do you want Dak Prescott as the Cowboys QB in 2012? I'm sure this will be a great, great idea. Y for yes, N for no in the comments section. I'm sure there will be nothing but friendly comments made over that one. From Mark, with his lack of size, but I think this is about Zach Cunningham. Wouldn't it behoove the Cowboys to play him at middle linebacker and Kendricks at weak side linebacker? I think you kind of mentioned that's all fine. Assuming this is about Zach Cunningham and not somebody else, or Damone Clark or something. I assume that's what you're talking about, Mark. I think you want Kendricks at middle linebacker because he's also lacking some speed these days. I don't think you can play Kendricks over there at the weak side spot. I don't think he's the same athlete he was, and I want that veteran presence in there at the middle. So I'm playing Kendricks at middle linebacker, hopefully overshown at weak side linebacker if he's healthy. Clark and Leofau can play some Sam and 3-down packages. You'll see more 3-down packages this season. If you want more depth, great, but I think those four, if healthy, could end up being okay. Jorge Saul, any nose tackle available to fill that void on the defensive line? Well, and hopefully it's Mozzie. You drafted Justin Rogers in the 7th round. He could be a fit for you. Carl Davis is there. I'm actually more worried about your complete lack of depth behind Osa Odigizua than the nose guard spot, unless they are actually out on Mozzie Smith, which I'd be kind of surprised by. And that'd be a pretty big red flag, by the way, after being out after a 9-month span. But you could add a Linval Joseph, a name that's out there. I would like more DT bodies in general because you are dangerously thin there. CJ DeYoung III, hey Tom, is subs only mode on? If it is, there are sure a lot of non-Cowboys fans sub to the channel. We actually are on sub-only chat, so live chat. So yes, everyone who's trolling the Cowboys is a closet Cowboys fan who doesn't want to admit how deeply involved that they are. They are secret closet Cowboys fans. So if that applies to you, and you just don't want to admit it, but you want to love the Cowboys, it's a safe space for you to subscribe. Maybe come out one day and admit how much you love America's team. Sub for more free Cowboys YouTube videos multiple times each day. Skellig Dude, are you excited for the comp picks next year? Also, running back receiver room is scary with a couple players who potential, in my opinion. What do you say? Yeah, I'll go back to the last part there. There are players who have potential. who have upside to be bigger and better pieces than what they were last season. But we can make that argument for every room and every team in the NFL. I think they're banking more on that than provenness, which is scary for a team coming off 12 wins, 3 straight years. I wish they were more aggressive. Comp picks, yes, I will enjoy the comp picks next year. It would have been nice to sign somebody and help you out this year, though it wasn't just Eric Hendricks. Michael Ryan, $5 super chat. Based on the film, I think Rico is the best number 1 running back option, and then Deuce Vaughn number 2 as the lightning punch. Rico is looking big, strong, fast, and explosive. I would agree. I would put Rico as the number 1 back. Deuce Vaughn, semi-trolling aside, I need to see him. I think you have to use him properly, and I don't know if this is the right staff to do that. They kind of seem like they could scheme for a couple players a game. Early on, it was Turpin, and then it was all CeeDee Lamb, and I don't know if they can find a way to do both of those things, frankly. Obviously, Deuce and Zeke are about as polar opposite as you get in terms of body types these days. I just wish there was still more explosiveness in that room. Who do you think will end up being the Cowboys' number 1 running back this year? Go ahead and sound off for me in the comments section of today's show. DC for L, I think they'll tank for Arch Manning. Here's the danger part. We have no idea if Arch Manning's actually good. If his name was Arch Johnson, just a 5-star quarterback, okay. We've seen those guys be good and be terrible. Remember Jimmy Clausen? Remember Brock Berlin? Sometimes the guys don't even make it to the NFL. So I think ignore the name, like it's Arch Manning. I get that. All of that's fine. Maybe that's something that ends up happening, ends up being a very good football player. But I think you tank in order to put yourself in position to get a quarterback. Maybe it's Arch, maybe it's not. Remember the whole tank for Tua thing? Ended up being Joe Burrow. So if you don't have a quarterback, then yeah, you should bottom out and get that top 3 pick or top 5 pick. That's the best path to go down. From Zachary, should the Cowboys sign Vernon Butler Jr.? He didn't make the Giants he's cooked, I think. I don't think there's any left in the tank for him. I'm looking at his stats right now. Yeah, he had 4 tackles in 2022. He played 1 game. Didn't play at all in 2023. So I think that's, prime Vernon Butler back in 2019? Sure. This version? Nah, I'm out.